Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've actually been wanting to talk about for quite a while already, but I guess I wasn't really ready to talk about it yet. And to be honest, I can't believe I'm making this video. I think like 10 years ago or probably even 5 years ago, I would have never ever talked about this topic as publicly as I am going to do today. I actually have rather thin hair. It is seriously a lot thinner than I feel like the average woman's hair is. I will insert some pictures or some footage which I did take of my hair when it was wet. I think when it's wet you can really see how thin it actually is, and yeah, you can go from there and think yourself on how thin it is or is not. Today I wanted to talk about how you can grow and start to be confident even though you have thin hair like I do, because I think that is so important. I feel like it's not being talked about enough on social media, and hair is just like the body image thing that is going around in social media and media. You know, there's a certain pressure for a lot of young girls, and also not young girls, also women, to look a certain way because of how women are portrayed in media, whether that be on magazines or movies or even on social media. There are so many absolutely gorgeous women with amazing bodies and such gorgeous hair doing their perfect gorgeous hairdos. And I think with hair it's also like that you can very easily start to feel like there's something wrong with your hair because it doesn't look like that, or you realize, like I do, I can barely do any kind of hairdos on my hair because I feel like it just makes it look a lot thinner. So that's why I have it open most of the time, because that makes me feel the most confident. So yeah, I thought that would be a great topic for today. And I also wanted to mention that my hair is genetically thin, so I've always had thin hair throughout my life. It hasn't started to thin or anything yet, and I did have a small little issue a while ago where I felt like it was thinning a little bit and it wasn't growing a lot, but really there's no big difference. And now I feel like my hair is getting healthier and healthier, and it's definitely growing again, so I don't feel like I have that problem anymore. But I have definitely had thin hair ever since I was a child. My mom would put my hair on a tight ponytail. You could basically see my scalp, and you know, I looked like a bald person with a bun on my head. So yeah, that's just how it is for me. So there's like no way I can hope or wish or think that I will ever have thick hair one day. And that's something that I've had to truly accept, because for so many years I've thought that, you know what, maybe one day I will have this beautiful long thick mermaid hair like this person does, and I just need to do this or try this medicine or try this kind of hair treatment or whatever. And you know, you have to come to the point at sometimes to realize that your hair really won't get thick anymore, because you're not born with it. I'm not born with it, you know, this is how it is. Some of you may have a different problem. Maybe your hair has started to thin recently quite a lot and you're starting to feel very insecure, so maybe I can also help there to help you out a little bit to make you feel more confident with your thin hair. But in this case, of course, you should try to figure out a way to stop your hair from thinning, because I understand that's like the worst thing that can happen, is when your hair starts to thin and you know, hair just keeps falling off. It really does start to worry you. So before I go into my tips, I think I want to tell you guys really how much my thin hair has affected me in my past, and it really still does every now and then. I'm just in a much better place in my life. I don't let my hair ruin each and every day of mine, and I'm starting to really embrace it and just not care that much. But I've definitely not always been like this, and it has taken me a while to get here, and I have had very low points where I was like, I can't even go outside because my hair looks so horrible and so thin, and everybody's going to think something horrible of me. So I think basically ever since I was like 13 or 14 years old was when I realized that, hey, whoa, my hair is actually really thin. And that was also when I started to read like women's magazines or like Teen Vogue or something like that. So I think that was the time in my life when I started to realize like holy moly, my hair is so thin, because I couldn't make any of those nice hairdos, or I don't know, I just always felt like, whoa, this is so crazy, my hair is actually really, really thin. And ever since that day, I feel like I've woken up every morning and just been so obsessive over what my hair looks like, and thinking that, oh my god, it just looks so thin and I can't go to school like this. And I was always straightening it ever since I was 13 as well, because I have thin hair and curly hair, so I always thought that was a very horrible combination. So I thought it would be better to start straightening it so it would somehow look at least a little bit not too messy or frizzy. And yeah, and I can just remember ever since then, before I went to school, I would shower every morning, dry my hair to make it a bit more voluminous, and also straighten my hair, and just really kind of obsess over it to make sure that it looks as good as possible. But then anytime it was raining or we had humid weather or I went to holiday, my hair just does not do that well. It just needs to get a little bit wet and it will get really frizzy very easily again. And I always was so unconscious about it. I was always so conscious about it when, you know, it started to get frizzy. I've always just been very non-confident about my hair, and it was one of the things that I think also contributed to me being as shy as a person as I was. And yeah, it was just a difficult time. A year ago or so, I did purchase hair extensions for the first time, clip-in hair extensions, and I thought that could work. You know, I was like, okay, I'll just try to make it work. And you know, I went to a hairdresser who kind of taught me how to put them on me, and it, you know, when she put them on me, it did look really good. But then when I tried to do it, it's just really hard, because your extensions are rather heavy, and then they are also, you know, more straight. And even though you can make it wavy, mine is like literally frizzy curly. So, you know, it's so hard to blend in with my hair unless you use a lot of heat and curl them. So if I were to use my hair extensions, I probably would need like 2 hours just to make my hair, to make sure that they're blended in properly and that you can't see where their hair extensions start, because it's really hard to put hair on top of hair extensions when you don't have any hair to put on your hair extensions. So yeah, it's just been really hard sometimes for me, and I've always been trying to find ways on how I could make it, you know, look thicker. And I've just always been dreaming of long, thick mermaid hair. Now I don't really think like that anymore too much. Like I said, I have my bad days, and I'm starting to accept my thin hair and just live with it. I'm also on my journey of making my hair much more healthy, because like I said, I've been straightening it ever since I was 13 years old every day. I've been washing my hair every day ever since I was 13 years old. And I've also been coloring my hair a lot. I haven't done that in a while, but I did do that for 10 years probably. I did a lot of damage to my hair, which obviously does not make your hair look that much better either. I realized at some point that obsessing so much over your hair is it's just such a waste of my time, because I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live thinking every morning or every day about how horrible my hair looks like. So my first thing to being confident with your thin hair is to be grateful. I think that's like the one tip to be confident in any kind of situation, and I feel like gratefulness is the road towards happiness in general anyway. So always remember to be grateful for all the little things. And with hair, I always say you need to be grateful that you even have hair. And now almost every night before I go to sleep, I say a few things that I'm grateful for, and almost every day, not every day, but almost every day, I am feeling grateful that I even have hair. And that's the first realization that you need to do. You need to put things into perspective, because there are so many women and men in this world who don't have hair for one reason or the other. There are people who are really losing all of their hair and becoming bald, and they have to start using wigs and they don't have any other options. And I wonder, I mean, I bet they all are thinking that, hey, at least this girl has hair. And that's what I've been thinking to myself. I know it doesn't really help in the beginning, and it's really hard to actually be grateful for it, but it's something that I had to practice. So that's what I did for a really long time, is really every day is telling myself, I'm grateful that I even have hair. And the more often you keep saying that to yourself, the sooner it will also become true to yourself. So yeah, remember to be grateful and start practicing that right now, and it will make you feel so much better about your hair, and you won't be obsessing about it too much anymore. The next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm sure you've already realized this, but it took me a really long time to actually understand this, and that is that you are probably the only one who is obsessing about your hair as much as you are, and you're thinking all of these thoughts that everybody can see how thin it is, and everybody's gonna think that you don't know how to do your hair, or whatever it is that you're thinking. You're the only one who's thinking that, and I know this only because all of my friends and all of my family and anybody around me, whenever I was complaining about my thin hair, they were always like, come on, Kia, it's not that thin, or I didn't even notice that, or I think it looks really good today. And only when they maybe touched it or were trying to do a hairdo for me, they might have said, yeah, okay, actually it is pretty thin. But from the outside, nobody else can actually realize that. It is all in your head because you feel it every day. You put it probably like I do in a ponytail, thinking, what is this little mouse tail that I have behind my head? You know, it's all in your head. Nobody else can probably even see that. So just keep that in mind when you go outside, that it's only you thinking that it looks thin, and probably nobody is even noticing that. And to be honest, like, especially anybody on the street, nobody's looking at that. Nobody's looking at you that carefully to see whether or not you have thin hair or not. So my third kind of tip for you guys is to choose something else that you can maybe gain some confidence from. So, you know, I had to realize at some point that my hair is never going to be the one thing that I'm going to say, that's my favorite part about me. I'm really into makeup, so I like trying new looks with makeup, and I like putting on makeup, and that's kind of mine, like, confidence zone when it comes to things, when it comes to shallow things, because in the end, you know, the hair and the makeup and the clothes, they're all shallow things. They're not what really make you beautiful, but I know that it can help you to bring out some confidence, you know, thinking that you have nice clothes or something, or having a nice necklace or anything else. You know, you pick what you like. Maybe you like doing your nails really nicely, maybe you like having nice jewelry, or maybe you're really into fashion, or whatever it is. This is truly not a must thing to do, but I feel that it helps me out whenever I do my makeup in the mornings. I love doing it, and I also feel like, yeah, you know, I look good today, and that's what you need to find. So don't concentrate that much on your hair. Like what I literally do with my hair these days is I go to the shower and then I let it air dry, and that's pretty much it with my hair. You know, of course I have worse days, but then I let it be, and that's it. So this brings me to my fourth tip, which is that do try to realize that your beauty does not come from the shallow outer things. So you are a beautiful person because of who you are, because you're kind, because you're loving and you're giving, and whatever it is, all those lovely qualities of yourself. Truly dig into yourself and start listing what kind of person you want to be and what kind of a person you are, and you need to realize that that is what makes you beautiful. And I'm sure you understand that whenever you're making friends, or you know, you like a guy or something, it's never truly because of their appearance. It's also because of what they are inside, and what the people are inside, that's really what makes them shine and makes them more beautiful. And I don't know, if you haven't realized that yet, you need to start realizing that now, because that's truly what matters. So what's on the outside is not a big deal, and you know, you need to, like I said already, you need to put it all into perspective. You know, hair is not the only thing in the world. It's like the least only thing in the world that there is. It's not that important. What's important is what is in the inside. And my fifth and final tip for you guys is to fake it until you make it. And I say that for anything that I do where I know that I need to build up a little bit more confidence, where I know that I need to, you know, really practice being sure about something. I just started to train my mind to stop obsessing about my hair. I started to tell it that it's beautiful and I like it, and hey, I look good today, and my hair is really awesome today, and it looks like a lion's mane today. And I started to say these things to myself to really teach myself and teach my mind to accept my hair. And you know, it was really fake at first. I would have told that to myself, but I didn't really mean it. The more you say these things to yourself, though, I feel, at least for me, they also became more true. The more I actually started to think so, and the less I really started obsessing over my hair. And yeah, and then at some point I was like, hey, you know what, I'm actually much more confident than I ever used to be, and I don't mind my hair anymore. And I think a really good example of this is that ever since I was 13 years old, like I told you, I was straightening my hair, and I've been so not confident about it. And for the last 3-4 months, I have not been using any heat on my hair whatsoever. I have literally just washed it in the shower, wet it, and then I let it air dry, and that is pretty much the only thing that I'm doing to my hair at the moment. And I think my hair is thanking me a lot because of all of those years of damage that I gave it. And now if I would straighten my hair, because I did a couple of weeks ago, I didn't even like my hair straightened. It didn't look good anymore to me. I thought I actually love it much more when my hair is au naturel, like this, with its curls. And I always thought that because my hair is so thin, my curls are also just super random on my head. And I thought that everybody could see that and it would look like I just woke up from the bed. But now I realize that I actually much prefer it like this. I also feel like my curls give it a bit more volume and just make it look somehow more alive, whereas where it was straight, it was sort of looked very strict, and it definitely looked more thin when it was straight. I have my previous videos on my channel, a lot of them were with me doing videos with my straightened hair, so you can go have a look at them if you want to. But yeah, I really feel so happy that I finally am accepting my hair as it is, and that is truly a milestone almost in my life, because I've been obsessing over it for so long. And guys, it just isn't worth it. And I hope if you have thin hair, you realize that obsessing over your hair is not worth it. Obsessing over anything that is shallow is not worth it. Those were all of my tips on how to be confident with thin hair. I truly hope that they could help any one of you guys out. That's why I made this video. It was a little bit uncomfortable for me, I guess, to be honest, because I never thought that I would talk about it on camera, and now I feel like I'm also making everybody be more aware of how thin my hair actually is. But that doesn't matter, because the point is that it doesn't matter if you have thick or thin hair. That is not what makes you beautiful. That is not the most important thing. And I truly hope that I can especially help anyone who's maybe in their teenage years or something, that they stop obsessing about it, because it just really is not worth your time at all. You look beautiful no matter what. I am so sure of it. So I hope you guys will realize that at some point as well. So yeah, if you did like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, and please also share any of your tips on how to become confident with thin hair if you're also dealing with this. And yeah, I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel. I will be making a couple of more videos to do with my thin hair, a little bit about my hair routine, maybe a couple of hairdos or hairstyles that you perhaps could try out with your thin hair and stuff like that. So do subscribe if you're interested in seeing those, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Moi moi!